Law Career Services presents Writing Samples, an opportunity to brand yourself. Your writing sample is part of your professional branding. It is a component piece of your application materials. It is entirely your own work. Since you are being hired for a legal writing and research job, it is a demonstration of your ability to perform the tasks associated with the position. You will use a piece of legal writing that demonstrates your ability to discuss, analyze, and apply the law. Not all employers will request a writing sample. Typically, half of the employers you apply to will request one. Of that half, 50% will ask for it at or prior to the initial interview. 10% will ask for it between an initial interview and a callback interview, and 30% will ask for it at or after the callback interview. Your writing sample should be up to date and ready at all times during the application and interview process. Your writing sample should reflect your ability to analyze a legal issue. It should be grammatically correct and free of typographic errors. Pieces drafted for a class, internship, or a journal are generally appropriate. Writing samples regarding controversial topics may cloud your candidacy regardless of how well drafted they are. Co-authored material, such as an advocacy brief, may be appropriate. However, the employer wants to see your writing and not the writing skills of your co-author. Therefore, co-authored pieces will need to be edited to include only your own writing. Writing samples developed on a job often make good writing samples. They show your ability at a very practical level to engage in the type of writing you will perform as a lawyer. In order to use a piece of writing drafted for an employer, first, you need to ask the employer's permission to use that writing sample. Second, you must redact confidential information. Third, you must redact any publicly available information that the employer directs you to delete. Suggestions for writing samples based on class year are as follows. First-year law students should put a lot of work into all legal writing assignments. The third memo in your fall semester is sophisticated enough to provide to an employer. If the work was completed in a closed universe where the authorities were limited and chosen for the assignment, be sure to mention that. Second years, you may choose from writing samples produced in the spring of your 1L year, your summer internship, or your advocacy course. Third years, you may choose from work produced in your second year, your summer internship, or your supervised writing requirement. Graduates, you may use writing produced during your third year or thereafter. Never use material from your first year of law school. Your writing should have gotten better with practice. As a general tip, remember that where possible, have the writing sample be relevant to the employer. Keep all of your writing work from classes and internships to have a diverse collection of samples ready to use. What is the appropriate length of a writing sample? If the employer does not specify page length, it should be about 5 to 10 pages long. If your writing sample is between 10 to 15 pages in length, specify the reason why. It is longer in your cover memo. If the employer requests a shorter writing sample, comply with the employer's instructions. Do not modify the format. Instead, remove smaller issues and leave the strongest. Acknowledge omitted issues and brackets. Remove conclusion paragraphs if necessary, but preserve as many of the facts as possible. Modify compound or complex sentences to shorter, more concise statements, and retain your point headings. They are critical to show a roadmap of the overall organization. To format your writing sample, comply with standard formatting conventions for the type of writing you are submitting. Generally, this will mean that you will use 12-point font, Times New Roman, and 1-inch margins. Do not play with the margins to create more space. It might look unprofessional. You may take out spaces between paragraphs and definitely number the pages. If you are asked to submit a hard copy of your writing sample, print your writing sample on good quality white paper only. Your writing sample should be your own work with minimal editing by other people. You may have your legal writing instructor look over it for mistakes. There are 5 helpful tips to polish your writing sample. First, know your audience. If you have a portfolio of writing samples, use a piece that gets the attention of the employer and keeps them interested. Second, keep it error-free. Proofread your writing sample as many times as possible to correct errors. One common proofreading exercise is to read your writing sample backwards to isolate sentences. Highlight and modify parts that you stumble on that don't make sense and change them. Third, prevent strange printer issues. Convert your document to a proper PDF. Once it is converted, look it over to prevent errors. Fourth, clean it up. Produce a professional writing sample free of comments from others. Do not attach or include feedback from professors or previous employers, even if they have glowing, positive responses. Fifth, be professional. Maintain the confidentiality of real clients by changing or redacting their names, or in the case of fictitious clients, changing the names of any fictitious client which was clever or cute. All writing samples should be accompanied by a cover memo. The format of this memo is a simple document with your name centered at the top of the page and the words writing sample immediately below your name. The body of this document will include the following type of background information: why the document was written, who it was written for, the context in which it was written, the issues which were addressed, explanation as to how the writing sample differs from the original document, and the body should be 1 to 2 paragraphs in length and no more than 1 page in total. The following is a sample cover memo from Sally Santa Clara submitting her writing sample. The body states, "The attached writing sample is a 10-page memo exploring the issue of whether police dog scent identification provides sufficient probable cause to stop and frisk a pedestrian in the absence of other suspicious activity in the state of California. The memo was produced as the final assignment of my fall semester first-year legal research and writing course in November 2013. The professor provided all reference materials and instructed the class not to conduct independent research. Additionally, we were instructed to follow the California Style Manual for all citations. The original memo was 15 pages in length. A smaller sub-issue regarding was omitted in order to produce a more concise writing sample. The omission does not affect the legal analysis or conclusion regarding the primary issue. The original writing sample is available upon request." If you have additional questions, please visit with your legal research and writing professor. Law Career Services can provide general guidance between 2 writing samples in the context of your job application. However, Law Career Services does not review or edit writing samples. We wish you the best of luck with your applications and look forward to hearing about your success.